Today on This Old House, old renovations have left the foundation a mess, so we're going to clean them up.
Take a couple passes at it, make it through in like 5 minutes.
And when a bearing wall comes down, a beam has to go up. And that's the project for today.
What happened to all this plumbing here?
I've never seen anything like this before. There's already rot going on in that trunk.
So what have you found up here?
Well, a bit of a surprise.
It's really the classic plumber's lament.
Nice.
It's 5 bathrooms, it's a kitchen, it's a full new mechanical. It's going to be a biggie.
Sounds like you guys have a plan.
I think we do.
Money's in the detail.
That is beautiful.
Hey there, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to This Old House here in Concord, Massachusetts, where we are working on this little gem right here, a Cape-style house built in 1880. Now, the original house, from the right corner there to about where this roof line breaks right here, that was 1880, and then there have been some additions put onto it over the years. The homeowners want to save the original part of the house. Most of the additions are going away and are going to be rebuilt. Since we were here last, over the last couple weeks, it has been all about demolition. A lot going on down here, and even more upstairs. Charlie took the upstairs back to the studs for a few reasons. The windows are getting changed out, even some of the openings are changing their size. Plus, everything up here is getting rewired. You can see remnants of the original knob and tubing. Fortunately, that was not active, but this old wiring right here, that's getting rewired, as is everything up here. There was no insulation in the walls either, so back to the studs made sense. Again, this is the original house, and right here, well, that's where that roof break is. So this is one of the additions that was put on over the years. And the reason this was taken back to the studs is because the roof was cut here at the ridge. This is where Charlie and his guys are going to connect to the new addition that runs a long way back behind the house. Down here on the first floor, over on this side of the house, this was the original family room. It's going to become a big kitchen. We'll save that fireplace and chimney there in the corner. And the original kitchen was down here. Just a small little room right about here. Now, with all the demolition on the first and second floor, there were really no surprises. Everything as expected. But that is not the case downstairs. Over the last couple weeks, the excavator's been busy taking down various additions and exposing the foundation. That's the family room I was just in with its foundation down below. Hey, Charlie.
Kevin.
And some surprises for you once you started excavating, huh?
We started excavating this corner over here. The good part is we found a footing under the chimney.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing. The bad thing is we kept digging a little further. There was no footing under the foundation.
So foundation under that family room addition many years ago. Are you surprised to find no footing underneath this foundation wall?
It happens once in a great while, so not overly surprised, but it's something we have to deal with.
Okay.
So we're standing in new basement space under the new family room. Mm-hmm. So the homeowner wants the new space 14 inches lower than the existing basement floor.
It's going to be all finished space?
All finished space, which would leave the dirt exposed, which we can't have.
Old basement floor there, they want to go down to here?
Right. So what we have to do is we have to put a footing to support this existing foundation. Okay. And to do that, we're going to drill a series of holes, put epoxy in it with rebar, and bend them down into the footing.
So that connects one to the other?
It does. And this is my reference pole here, shows existing basement floor all the way down to the basement finished floor, the new one.
And then below that, what, 8 inches of?
Just of good compact material.
I got you, so that's why we're down this far. Okay, so are we pouring next?
Not yet. Before we do that, we're going to saw cut the foundation to connect the two basements. This is Ben Doherty. He does our saw cutting for us.
Ben, you got a second?
Oh yeah.
What are you working with there?
Wall saw. It's electric, 32 inches, diamond tip blade.
You gonna run water through there?
Yeah, everything's water cooled. The saw, everything runs all the way through the saw. You know, it's electric, so it gets warm. Keep it cool.
Nice.
How many cuts will you get out of a blade like this?
Maybe like 20 to 50, depending on what you're cutting.
What's that 32-inch blade worth?
I don't know, probably $1,500, $2,000.
Surprised how fast that went through.
That's just like hot butter.
A motor drives the saw up and down a metal rail. Water helps manage friction on the blade. A cut like this takes about a couple minutes. The first cut is small to relieve pressure on the wall.
This will be our final cut.
So that's obviously not the cut of our opening. What's with that little thin piece?
Well, what we're worried about is if we cut one big section at once and that piece wanting to fall out, it could actually bind on the existing foundation. So we're gonna basically put a 12-inch relief cut in, take that small section out, and then the big one will fall free.
And how big are we talking?
Well, 4-foot opening. Then we'll frame in from there to whatever we want to do with lumber.
Look at that, huh?
Huh? Is that expected?
Almost got your boat.
Just like we planned.
So that's out now. And obviously we got to tip it forward and then start with the footing, Charlie?
Not yet for the footing. Before that, we have to take the new foundation and connect it to the existing foundation.
And pin those two together?
Yes,
That's very satisfying.
it is.
Okay.
Well, as you see, we have the old foundation, and this is the footing for the new foundation, and we have to connect the new to the old. And to do that, Eric's drilling holes into the concrete. I'm going to take rebar and epoxy it in. He's drilling about 6 inches in, and make a series of holes about a foot apart for the rebar to go in, and that will tie the two together.
Because we're going to pour a new wall on top of this footing right into that.
That's right.
Okay, so what do we got next?
Time to start setting forms.
Nice. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
The homeowners have elaborate ideas for their landscape plan, and Maria is one of 3 designers that's come up with a plan.
Hello, Jen.
How are you? Nice
I'm
to see
doing
you.
well, thank you.
You want to show me what you guys have come up with so far?
So we are going to begin with a very elegant, simple hedge at the beginning of the property. The homeowners would like to have a little more parking in this space, so we're adding an interesting parking area in the front of the house. And of course, we are putting in a spectacular garden in the very front of the foundation plan of the house.
Well, let's walk around the property, take a
Sounds
look at what's
good.
on your plan, and then see what we come up with.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so the erosion sock has been set up around the entire property to protect the wetlands down below.
I see.
Yeah,
Well, we wanted to also highlight this beautiful stone wall.
it's historic.
Beautiful stone walls, historic little town. So the idea is to have a mixed border, a very elegant mixed border of deciduous shrubs that won't totally enclose the home,
Right.
but will give you kind of a little borrowed view and a sense of enclosure with a couple of refined, elegant plants.
Okay.
One is the red chokeberry
Okay.
and Korean lilac.
All right, so let's talk about the chokeberry.
The chokeberry gets to be 8 feet tall eventually. It's a lovely plant. It's a native. The birds love it, the berries.
Right there, native and pollinator.
It's fantastic.
Great.
The lilac, this particular lilac, does not need a lot of pruning. So
I love the Miss Kim lilacs. I love the leaves on that. They're just that different shape and they're a little bigger. You know, they hold their structure.
Exactly.
And that beautiful. They bloom a little bit later than the common lilac, right?
also colors a little bit in the fall. And of course, at this time of year, they're spectacular.
So that'll be a great screen between the road and the house, but it's not going to completely cover it. It'll just pique a little interest and look different during different times of the year.
Exactly.
Well, let's go up here and check out what's going on the corner.
So there's been a lot of discussion about this dogwood tree, Jen. And it's a beauty.
It is a
It's
beauty.
a native. It's Cornus floridus.
One of my favorite all-time
We
trees.
love them. There's nothing more elegant, the form. As you also know, they're prone to anthracnose, which is a airborne disease.
Right.
I did put another tree in the plan,
Yep.
which is a Crataegus viridis winter king hawthorn.
Okay. I do like that branching structure, and it's a native plant, right?
It is a native and very tall tree.
White flowers in the spring.
So it has beautiful white flowers in the spring and tiny little berries.
If we have to take it down, I agree with that specimen tree. So, and then over here, I do agree also that taking these rhododendrons out and opening up the space will be beneficial to the new parking area.
Absolutely. So this area will be made into a much nicer parking area.
Okay.
The client wished to have enough parking. We are going to add an extra space for a third car. Right now, currently it's okay for 2 cars. So
Did I hear we want to reduce the amount of asphalt?
So what we will do is we will plan to use, they're called concrete grass block, and they're basically like a grid block that you can plant with grass seed, with sand and grass, and you can actually drive on it.
Right, so they're essentially vessels that you could put soil in and
Exactly.
then grass seed and mow right over it.
Exactly, and mow
That's
right
great.
over it.
I love it. I love the plan you've come up with. Now I want to check out the front because I think this is going to be a beautiful part of it.
This area is considered a foundation planting in this raised bed with this lovely stone wall, which I think is spectacular.
It has the potential of being a very beautiful space. It just looks like it's been neglected for years.
Which it probably has. There are a lot of cool plants in here, but there are also a lot of weeds, noxious weeds that are
Right.
interspersed in the soil here.
Right, right.
So our plan is to probably pull out, glean as much as we can and put aside should the homeowners want the plants.
And if they don't
they
want
don't,
them, we
then-
could cut them into pieces and put a sign that says free.
They're happy gifts
Yep.
for somebody. In the meantime, the plan is to just take everything out and basically begin a very rectilinear plan of there are 6 4-by-4-foot square beds that we will plant down at that end,
the
basically
edibles.
for the edibles and annuals, and some perennials for a cutting garden.
I love it. You know, throughout the whole COVID, I think a lot of people got back into growing their own again. And it's no longer looked down upon to have it in the front of your house. It's more accessible, and it's just really that healing garden. People need to grow stuff. So I think this is a great location for it. What about next to the edge, where it's a retaining wall drop?
So at the end, it's quite a drop. There will be a very large, a contemporary looking trellis
Okay.
with some of that steel
Oh,
wire.
I saw that in your plant. So like cable railing, like
Cable
around
railing,
decks. I
right.
think that's a great idea.
And then we have anchored this wall here with 2 boxwood,
Yep.
baby jade boxwood. So the plan is to put a row of blueberry along this front edge.
The edible front border.
The
I
edible
love it.
front border, the cool thing about blueberry is that it is a native. This particular one is called high bush blueberry, but it only grows to be 30 inches tall.
Right.
And it's called peach sorbet, and it is a cultivar that has just lustrous, beautiful leaves, orange, yellow, green. It's just
The fall, yes, the fall
spectacular
colors are
color.
amazing.
And then along the back row, there will be just a row of phenomenal lavender.
Okay.
Because this is a very hot spot here.
It's perfect. Let them cook. They want to be dried out. So you'll amend the soil,
Yes.
create this amazing kitchen garden.
Absolutely.
Is there going to be a space to sit?
So there will be in this corner, the plan is to have like maybe a teak bench or a corner bench where you can keep your gardening tools and a little small table.
Perfect. Keep it all contained. I think it's a great plan, and I can't wait to see it come to life.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, what we're gonna do here is we're actually gonna open up this wall right here because this is a narrow stairway and the homeowners wanna leave it. So what we wanna do is we wanna take this wall out about as far as the face of that wall on the other side of the stairway, open up this whole thing and make a big difference in here.
Yeah, and the best part about it is it's basically going to take this header that we have here, it's going to be almost 8 feet long, and just really recess it up into the ceiling.
Yeah, because we don't want that sticking down in the room with nice flat ceiling. And these joists run from that wall there and stop here, and then they pick up here and go to this all the way over to here where they stop. So now we have an intermittent wall here. So what we have to do is support the end of this one and the end of that side. And to do that, we're going to put up a couple of studs. Probably do another. I want to get right under that joist. At the bottom of this over. Okay, good. All right, let's see if we get some of the load off of this. Now, before I cut this one free, I'm going to cut this main one right here and see if there's pressure on that. All right, so I'm not going to cut all the way through that one. What I want to do now is I want to cut this way in. The reason is if there's going to be force down on this, there's going to be less pressure on this and I can get the blade out easier. So I'm going to make two cuts. I'm going to make one a little lower. And now I'm going to cut right where the line is. It broke free. There's nothing there. Now we'll just do this one. And there's nothing there. So we have our floor supported safely above. Now we'll just pull these studs out. I get this one, you want to try that? There. Get your hammer in there. There you go. Go ahead. You ready? No, back again. Go ahead. There you go. Nice. Good.
Here's the biggest nails they had.
Let's see if we can get this one out of here. See if we can get that header down. All right.
I just want to cut the strapping out of the way because it's going to be replaced anyway, so we can cut up to these joists.
Ready?
Yep.
Right there. All right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Now we need to cut the joist to make room for the beam. All right. So now we're ready to cut our beam to length, and the wood that we're going to use to make up the beam is a LVL, laminated veneer lumber. It's an engineered beam. We know what this beam is capable of holding. It's actually strands of lumber that are put together in sheets in one direction, unlike a piece of plywood where you have alternating laminates, one this way, and so on down the line. This is all the same, gives it more strength. We're going to square it up and cut it to length. All right, I think it'd be easy to put one in at a time. I can screw into the end of the joist if we do it that way. So get it up. I got a block here to hold it up once you get in.
I gotta go to you a little. We're gonna have to put a 2x end of this to pick it up.
We'll just get screwing this end. Now we're ready to attach the floor joist to the beam on this end. We've temporarily attached the beam to the ends of the joist right here to hold it into position at where it needs to go. Now these joists are thicker than a conventional piece of lumber. Like this is a conventional piece of lumber, 1.5 inches. These are 1.75 inches. So the hanger that we need has to be a wider hanger. This is a hanger that's used for engineered lumber or old work. So the oil work fits around that perfect. Slide it up, make sure it's tight, and I'll fasten it to the side of the beam. In this case, because it's hard to get to, I'm actually going to screw it in place using a hanger screw designed for this practice. It's a special screw, and I'm going to put it in, and I have to fill each hole. All right, we've attached our hangers from the outside wall over to here, and we've made these joists right here even with the top of our beam. Now, because there's a slight curve in the building right here, the floor, what we need to do is jack this beam up so that the beam at the top is even with the top of the joist. So we're going to put a jack in here. You're going to jack it up, Charlie, till I tell you to stop. We'll get a hanger on this one. Go ahead. Keep going. Now, the benefit of the hangers are actually pulling that whole part of the floor up with it. Keep going. A little more. Almost there. A little more. All right, that's pretty good. Let's get a hanger on this joist right here. All right, let it down easy.
Ready?
Nice and easy. Going down.
Yep.
And went down and nothing moved. All right, so let's get these temporary walls out. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, what a difference, huh?
This is just what they were looking for.
Yeah, opens it right up, does. Finish that stairway off, looks like a new hallway.
Does.
All right, let's clean this mess up.
Next time on This Old House, thousands of American towns have Cape Cod style homes, and we decided to find out why.
The concept of the Cape Cod house really was a 19th century concoction.
Well, today we have a sloped grade that really will come into an inside corner of the new foundation and the existing, and we want to keep the water out.
I want to go down there and see how you guys are tackling it.
All right.
And we're bracing the foundation so this wall stays straight.